What is up, guys? This is Lintheo, coming at you with a Heraldic Beast updated deck profile. Now, I haven't done Heraldic Beasts in a while because there have just been so many other decks that I've been concentrating on. They've kind of taken a bit of a backseat, but since it's a new format, I wanted to kind of get the deck list up for you guys to see what my version is. So we'll go straight into it. We have the 3 Heraldic Beast Leo. You know, he's your main searcher for different cards in the deck. He's a main beater. And he's just, in general, a very, very important card. So running him at 3 is kind of standard. Then we have Abercrombie at 3 as well. Abercrombie is really good just for recycling cards. If you can get this a little bit early on and just fuel your grave, it's really, really useful. Because it just means you can start punting things back to your hand. And it's not a bad beater as well, 1-8, and it's also a wind attribute. Then we have the 2 Eagle. This card's really good in my opinion. I really like adding things back to my my XEs to give it more material. So this card in general is really, really good, but running it at 2 is a good number because you don't need 3. You can access it, put it in the grave when you need it with cards that I have in the deck. So having it at 2 is fine. 2 Basilisk. The card is really, really good and quite unexpected for a lot of people. So having it at 2 is good. 3 is always cloggy. I don't like 3. As I said, you can always search these cards with Leo if you need them. So Basilisk at 2, great card. It can be used on the offensive or defensive as well. Then one in new additions is 3 Mathematician. Mathematician really helps the deck because it gives the deck a good amount of consistency with you just being able to dump Leo straight away into the grave or Abercrombie or even Eagle to attach to materials. I know a lot of people use Curry Bandit, but I don't actually like it because I'm running quite a lot of spells and traps. There are more spells and traps than monsters, and the odds of, you know, getting actual monsters instead of milling cards that I actually need are a little bit of a problem. I'm always unlucky with my mills. So having a Mathematician for an actual Foolish is very, very useful because I prefer precision milling. So having 4 Foolishes in the deck, because I also play 1 Foolish, is useful. Then we have the 2 Kage. This is just generic rank 4 engine, to be honest, because it's just really, really useful. There are a lot of cards that obviously it can be used for and can be used with. This is a rank 4 deck, so it just works out to have these in hand. And then we have the 1 Zephyros. This card is pretty useful just because I can put it in the grave of Mathematician or Foolish. I can send any of my cards back to my hand. It's also face-up cards on, you know, spells and traps. So if I have any of them that I want to recycle, I can just use Zephyros to bring it back. And it also brings me back from Brink of Death, because if I've only got 1 monster on the field in my turn, then, you know, I can start doing combos. You all know what Zephyros does. Going on to the spells, we had Advanced Heraldry Art. This card is so good, like ridiculously good. Being able to bring just 2 monsters back and just XE with them from nothing, from 1 card, is just so brutal, and it's always going to be good. So, yeah, I really love the card. Running it at 3 I don't think is inconsistent, because you want to see it as soon as you can. Having 2 monsters in the grave isn't very difficult, so it's never really dead for me, in my opinion, and mid-late game, this completely snatches games. So, I really love the card. Then we have the 2 Heraldic Reborn. I only run 2 because I've never needed a 3rd. I know this card is Monster Reborn and is brilliant, but I have found actual inconsistencies running this at 3. And I know you might think it's ironic considering I run this at 3 and you would think this has more inconsistencies. Yes, but this isn't as good as this, is the simple fact. And I've never really seen Advanced Heraldry Art really, really early to the point where it's dead. Heraldry Reborn is just a little bit annoying at times, but it's still an amazing card. And yeah, that's basically it. So running it at 2 is kind of the sweet spot for me. Then we have 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, just for general back row. We don't want to get caught by the vanities or anything like that. So yeah, that's why that's there. The 1 Raigeki, because it's just an amazing card. I know there are a lot of floaters around right now, but it's still a great card when used at the right time. Not everything floats in all of these decks, so using it in the most optimum time is a really, really good thing. And just being able to have it there, even if you have an established board, is just great. You know, because back in the day, That was crazy. The one Soul Charge, newly limited. Soul Charge is just great. I think it should just be played by everyone because the card is just really, really good right now. Having it at 1, there's no downsides. I'll do a video about this later. But yeah, just maximum amount of reborning in this deck. And then the one Foolish because, you know, it's pretty simple. Just put stuff in your grave. Going on to the traps, we have a fair few. We have 3 Phoenix Windblast. This card is one of the best trap cards in the game right now, in my opinion, behind Vanities, because being able to put stuff on top of your opponent's deck has 2 ups. The first one is that obviously you're removing a card. So you're removing the card from their field, and if it's, for example, anything like Shadows, anything like that, you get them out of the way so they don't get their effects. The other upside to it is you know what your opponent's going to draw next turn. So it means you effectively lock them out of a draw because it's nothing that they, you know, it's nothing different. You already know what it is. So you already have knowledge on top of that. On top of the obviously effects, the discard effect works for Heraldics because you want to fuel your grave. You don't mind if you discard anything. So Phoenix Wing Blast is an amazing, amazing card. Or I should say Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. You know what I mean. 2 Deep Prison. Still think Deep Prison's a great card right now. The ability to just banish is just amazing, as it always is. So, yeah, that's why we have them. 2 Mind Crush. Really enjoying Mind Crush right now. I always kind of run Mind Crush in this deck and nothing else. I don't know why. I suppose this is more of a control version, but Mind Crush is great right now. I think I heard people saying Jeff Jones is running it quite a lot now. I didn't actually see that article, but it makes sense if he is, because, you know, there are a lot of different decks that add cards to the hand, so it only makes sense that these cards are eventually going to be public knowledge to Mind Crush them into the face. 2 Fiendish Chain, we don't like effects, so we just want to stop them. I don't run Breakthrough Skill in this one, sorry, because I just don't prefer it as much. It's a little bit more of a control variant, so the Fiendish Chains are much better because you can actually stop attacks. The 1 Solemn Warning, because it's still an amazing card. The 1 Torrential Tribute, these are just the standard one-offs, the very generic one-offs. The 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. The 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device. And then finally the 1 Call the Haunted. Now I only run 1 Call the Haunted because as you've seen how much revival I do have in the grave. Call the Haunted is more aimed on the actual Xyzs that I have if I want to bring them back, because I'll Call the Haunted, an Xyz, and then use Eagle to put everything back onto it. So that's why I run Call the Haunted. But because I only run 2 Eagles, it only makes sense to run 1. Obviously, Call the Haunted can be used on other things, but primarily that's what it's used for, because I obviously have Soul Charge and everything else that also does Xyz, but things like Heraldry Reborn and Heraldry Arts don't obviously do that. So that's the main deck. Extra deck follows. Rank 4s, standard. The 1 Exeter Knight, these are obviously all very standard. The 1 Larval Chain, because you know you can ditch things to your grave if you so wish. The 1 Daigusto Emerald, if you just want to recycle anything. The 1 Hotline Drago, because, you know, poking is fun. 2 Lightning Chidori. This card's great in this deck, obviously. You run a fair few wins, you can easily make it. And this card really turns the game around. It's a very, very annoying card, and especially against Shadows, you can laugh at them. The 1 Silent Honor Arc. The 1 Black Ship of Corn. The 1 Castel, great card, absolute great card currently. The 1 Cargon, or whatever the fuck that card, we all know what that one is. The 1 Abyss Dweller. The 1 Gagaya Cowboy. The 1 Heraldry King, because you play Heraldics. Heraldics, choose one. 1 Ragnar Zero, because Fire Fists are starting to be a little bit more of a thing. People are picking it up in popularity. Whether or not the deck's actually good now is irrelevant. It's the fact that people are playing it, so having a Ragnar Zero is fairly useful. And then finally the 1 Rapstein Berserk, because this card is just good. So that is it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the deck profile. As I said, it's been a while since Heraldics were on my channel. But it's a very, very, very fun deck, and I do really enjoy playing it. There are a lot of different ways you can play it, but this is my version for now. So let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the deck. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.